Yo, what is hold on. Yo, what is good, everybody? Clay back here again with a new video set. Today we're reacting to the David Files. This is a story that's kind of big right now in social media after David and Celeste. Apparently, this is not factual yet, as the court of law. Don't take my opinions as fact. This is just opinions. But David has had his car found that was lost a while back, and a dead body was found in the car. And the person people assume it is Celeste, but there's new information that's come out. And if you want to go check out all those informations, you can see it on my YouTube shorts here. I do post updates on those from other channels, especially this channel that we're watching right now, which is um, uh, Turkey Tom. If you want to go subscribe to him, go subscribe to him. They have a beautiful infographic, information-based content. I'm back, guys. I think there was an issue with the my screen connecting to the recording software, but I have fixed it. But as I was saying, the David Files, they found Celeste in the car and all information. I showed you everything, and we're gonna get into this video, which is gonna talk more about the David Files and give you the whole depiction of it. This is a 31-minute video, so this might be an hour-long video. If you want to stay, you can stay. If you don't want to stay, that's okay. And hopefully you guys enjoy. I'm trying to change up my content as well. As you can tell, we're watching this. I'm going to try to keep up with the content around the music industry as well, because that's something I am very interested in, and that's what the industry I'm part of as well. But let me stop wasting your time, though. That's all I wanted to say. Follow me on Instagram, _NBS. You can see updates of my music and my personal life as well, and everything that I'm doing. And you can even DM me on there for recommendations, because I do see them more often on my Instagram. So if you want to go ahead and do that, go ahead on my Instagram and follow me. You can follow my TikTok as well, because I do post content on TikTok as well, and I'll be trying to go live a little bit more on TikTok with other people in the future as well. So if you want to go ahead and follow me on Instagram and TikTok, go ahead, _NBS. I am a music artist as well, so if you want to listen to my music, it's in the description. And I do make different kind of music, but I'm also making similar songs to David, even though right now it's not the best time to talk about that topic. But yes, you can go check out my songs in the description or my social media bio links, as I said here, link in bio. You can want to check it out if you want to check it out as well. But anyway, without further ado, guys, let me stop wasting your time. Subscribe, hit that like button, hit that bell icon, and click all, and let's get straight to the video. Yes, sir.
November 8th, 2025, police officers found body parts in the trunk of a vehicle showing signs of prolonged malnourishment. Upon further investigation, they discovered these were the remains of a teenage girl that had been missing for 17 months, and that the car belonged to indie artist David, who had over 30 million listeners and songs with almost 250 million views on YouTube. An already dark and tragic incident became even darker, as people online slowly unraveled 4 years of David foreshadowing this would happen through his music, which he was performing the same day the body.
Actually, yeah, I remember that. Now, if you guys want to go listen to, obviously, Romantic Homicide, it is a song, one of his most popular songs, or the most popular song that he has on Spotify and YouTube. But if you want to go listen to it, you can search David Romantic Homicide, and you can go take a look at listen to it, and it does actually depict a lot of what happened in this situation. But then again, I've seen other videos where they kind of say that that wasn't Celeste, and they've proven that with CCTV cameras. They've seen Celeste in a bodega, or like a, how do I explain this in a different way? It's like a store where they sell like chips and drinks and stuff, like a service station kind of thing, where she was shopping at that time as well. So apparently they're assuming there's two Celestes in this situation, and one was obviously older and one was younger, but they're not 100% on this information, and they're still trying to find this. And David has also been uh, playing Fortnite when this situation happened. You can tell, you can see all the information on my YouTube shorts. Obviously, it's not by me; it's by other content creators. So don't base all that information on me. It's just information found by a lot of other content creators.
Was found. This is one of the most downright evil stories I've ever covered, so viewer discretion is advised. All the way back in 2018, 13-year-old David Anthony Burke was a homeschooled kid with not just a normal family, but an unusually well-to-do family unit. His parents were still together, had a strong religious background, and were well off financially.
I'm actually curious. I didn't know that information. I didn't know he was homeschooled. That explains the time he spent with like learning music and stuff like that. But I presumed that he was going to school and stuff. So apparently then maybe that doesn't prove, because there was a situation where they were talking about him meeting Celeste at her school at some point. I think the teacher of Celeste did mention that David was there at some point. So I don't know what the facts about that is, or some people make up stories realistically for attention, which is a sad thing. And I don't claim to know for a fact that is true, but for David's situation, obviously, hopefully it's not true, but there's a lot of opposing evidence.
As his dad was a regional litigation support project manager for a global firm with 75 offices and a staff of over 1,500 attorneys. Browsing his LinkedIn briefly shows you just how many huge law firms he dealt with and how much experience he had. By all means, the Burke family was well supported and had everything they needed. However, David had mostly unsupervised access to the internet, and they simply had no idea the kinds of things he would expose himself to. But we'll get to that later. To their knowledge, and likewise to the public's knowledge,
Yeah, he was a Fortnite gamer before he became a music artist. So obviously you can tell he has 80,000 subscribers on YouTube, because he was one of the best Fortnite compilation channels back in the day as well. And then that's how he transitioned into the music, obviously using his own music, because he always got copyrighted by this is the reason why he started being a music artist, because he got copyrighted like how I do personally from watching a lot of the songs that I react to on this channel. They're all copyrighted, guys, so I don't get paid at all from the reactions that I do for the other artists. So if you claim that I'm just using it for financial reasons, I don't. But as I was saying, David made music just out of just wanting to use it off his um Fortnite compilations, but obviously he then became more passionate about music in the end, which is kind of how I transitioned, but I transitioned the other way. Well, I did YouTube first. I was a gaming channel, and I only got up to 1,000 subscribers. It's not that big of a flex. I was doing gaming videos back in the day, the good old days when PewDiePie, KSI was still a thing. But I, um, I obviously wasn't doing this transition off just the same way David did, obviously, because I'm not trying to reach that area at any point in my life, but obviously it's not proven true yet. So yeah, let's keep going. Let's see what's going
David's
on.
teenage years had him either studying or playing Fortnite and making edits and montages of it. But due to the prominent role music plays in Fortnite edits, he found his content getting frequently copyright striked. Over the course of 3 years where he struggled with this problem, he decided to take his interest in artists like 𝐿𝐼𝐼𝐼𝐿 and Tyler the Creator to try his hand at making his own music to avoid copyright. This culminated in the release of his first song on YouTube, Runaway, which was released in December 2021. From the get-go, the themes in his music are very clear and repetitive. The speaker in the song is trying to get someone they love to come live with them, feeling sad when they feel their feelings are not reciprocated, fearing that their partner is running away, and lastly, having these feelings boil over into aggression and a jealous anger. In a song from February 2022, he says,
Wow, I didn't realize that he had a lot of songs out before. Obviously, I'm not a big David fan. Obviously, I'm like the generic public when it comes to his music, but that's a very deep topic for a person who's that age as well. I think he said 11 or through 13 to something. Maybe he was 16 when he made that song. I'm not sure, 18, 20 something. I don't have a factual time frame when he made this kind of jealousy, anger kind of songs, but there's obviously the proof that he had like a alter ego or something like that. Maybe that's an excuse. Maybe I don't know. But with the alter ego being very evil, and apparently he used to go to chat rooms where they used to unalive people on those streams, which is kind of crazy. I know I've known a lot of people who do go and do those stuff, which is kind of odd to me back in the day as well. But to each their own, I guess. But yeah, let's keep
"Look
going.
into your eyes and I can see right through your lies. I think we both know who dies here. You can't leave the past behind. You're the only one that lies here." In another song from just 1 month later, he has the phrase "save your tears 7 years" in the chorus. And I think at this point it's necessary to introduce you to David's alleged victim for legal purposes, Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
Yeah, for legal purposes, Celeste Rivas Hernandez is the younger version. Apparently, she was 11 to 13 at the time she was hanging out with David, which is really concerning. But apparently, there's another Celeste in this situation. Apparently, who was 18 at the time. I'm not sure, but That's what the recent information is shared right now with the public.
Born on September 7th, 2010, meaning in early 2022, she'd have been 11, 7 years away from being 18. Meanwhile, David would be 17. While no one had any reason to suspect anything at the time, the contents of his music only became more concerning. Over his next two songs that are almost follow-ups to one another, the narrative David is describing goes from just needing a friend to a song called More Than Just Friends, where he says, "I told you keep it 10, or you'll end up dead." Pieces put together like a puzzle. Over the next 8 songs, this narrative is mostly maintained, with David talking about being sent into jealous frenzies and obsessively sending whoever he's talking to hundreds of messages, while occasionally saying things like, "trying to kill you slowly," and "we're gonna die tonight." As much as it's pretty commonplace for these themes to appear in this kind of music, it often seemed like David was being a bit too oddly specific about his subject matter. This is even more the case when you factor in the kinds of things he was tweeting at the time, such as, "When I was writing this, I got a notification from you, as you were talking about wanting to be with your mom and your sister again. Take me where I belong, but your circumstances won't allow us to be in our ideal situations. We gotta push through it, bro." It's one thing for there to be odd lyrics, but this is just him talking on a tweet about
I would have never expected it from David though. From if you guys watched videos from David and his interaction with Twitch streamers and especially Jason, or Jason, what I call him Jason, but like if you see the content that he makes with him, his perception, well, my perception of him and other people's perception of him seems like a very shy, quiet, or like such a type of person to not do that kind of thing, and that type of person to be, well, obviously you never know realistically what type of person what they can do, but with David, his perception was very like anime interested, vibey guy who like most of these gamers and content creators who we grew up obviously watching, and similar to Jason and all them other ones obviously, but you never know. And then now it's obviously been shown that he has a different past and different character to what he is.
how someone needs to push through their wishes to be with their mom and sister again. While the post he was replying to there is now gone, there is a Wayback Machine snapshot of what the original exchange was. In it, David, with his old handle, Ant Part 2, is replying to someone named 6K4TE, who says, "This relates to how I feel so heavily," to one of his songs. The only other hit for this exact handle is a Pinterest profile whose last piece of activity took place 11 months ago. Currently, this Twitter handle is being used by someone else who is not related to the original owner of the handle or David, so don't go messaging them because they have nothing to do with anything. The only other significant pieces of David's Twitter activity from around this period are him saying that religion is a money scheme and that he'd been studying nihilism lately. Although she was probably there for longer, the earliest record of a Celeste in David's Discord server comes from October 2022, when she would have been 12. It's around this time.
Okay, so I do want to talk about the Discord thing. I have seen another video by Traplore Ross. If you want to go check out his videos, definitely go check it out. He makes amazing documentary style videos. But what he mentioned in that video was during the time with the Discord conversation, a lot of this stuff has been proven to be incorrect, or some of them being correct in some sort. But that Celeste in that conversation apparently was a different person perceivably, but I'm not sure if I'm correct 100%. You can go check it out on my YouTube shorts as well, which, or you can go on Traplore Ross's main YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see the full documentary style content on David. But on that situation, he apparently, the people in there, they have had conversations with the people who have replied to Celeste in that conversation, and some of them have discussed that that could not be the situation, obviously, with the Celeste, or someone else's account was called Celeste at that time. But anyways, let's keep going. We'll see what he
that we
says.
got one of the most damning instances of David telling on himself. The music video for the track Romantic Homicide. The video depicts David in some pretty ritualistic scenes, surrounded by candles with a blindfold on, standing in front of a seemingly deceased girl. Later on, it's suggested that the evidence of the crime is hid away inside of a suitcase. The lyrics aren't very specific.
People are saying also that he basically incriminated, he wanted to be caught, which is such an interesting way to think about it. I'm not sure why he would want to be caught. Maybe he feel guilty about the situation, or if this is honestly like a marketing technique, this is such a horrendous way to promote an artist, but hopefully it's not. But it would work well realistically. And I'm not saying it's like a good thing to do naturally, as I said before, but doing this kind of marketing will bring a lot of attention to David and the content he might, because he was on tour as well, and they did cancel his tour, and he has been off social media for a while. But if this is a marketing technique, then I really hope it's not. But if it is, not the best way to do it, honestly.
But they too reflect the same themes from before, killing someone he loves. While his previous songs had already gotten some degree of attention, this one was by far his biggest hit yet, taking him from being an obscure indie artist to being in the same category as people like Juice WRLD. Last but not least, if you check the date this video was posted, it was exactly on the 7th of September, Celeste's birthday. Maybe due to how much success this song got him, David got even
I didn't even know that. Releasing that on her birthday is actually cooked. I there's so many clues that bring to the fact, but why would you make it so obvious to the point where you're just showing exactly what you did, the times, relating everything to the part? Obviously, as I mentioned before at the start of the video, that there has been proof of Celeste not being around David at that time and her being hanging out with her friends. And so apparently there's so many different stories from different people. Apparently, people like I'm gonna say this in the most respectful way, but like giving apparently paid people off so he could be with Celeste, like her friend group or something, or like one of her friends was like giving Celeste out to like him or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not saying that it's a factual thing, but that has been another story that I've heard by another group. Obviously, I want to be honest. We want to focus on obviously the real facts once the police have given out the details and all the truths come out. This is all speculation. Everything that you hear from me or anyone else is all speculation and not fact.
bolder about subliminally referencing the insidious things he was doing behind the scenes. 2 months into the new year, he started opening up to his Discord server, which obviously was full of minors. In a long string of messages, he said, "I used to be addicted to watching gore videos. Live Leak was bookmarked. Lamau. I saw a cartel execution on Reddit when I was 14. Got to the point where I don't even cringe when I see it no more. I remember laughing at one point. It got bad, man. I like writing gory psychological drama, romantic quotes, and a lot of death. I love gore. Gore is better than adult videos." This is absolutely not the first time someone has mentioned
What the? What the? Bro, I what a, what is wrong with people who enjoy that stuff? I honestly don't. I fully don't have a full understanding of people's psychology when it comes to that thing. Maybe it comes through to um, external factors, the environment, and even can be personal preference. I don't know, but I can never understand why people find that so intriguing, in my opinion. And specifically for David, I would have never guessed that. But then again, it proves to the point where you never know someone until that that someone comes to light in a different way to what you perceive them to be, I guess.
mentally self-destructed via gore videos. There is such a huge community online of absolute freaks surrounding this kind of thing that I'm surprised there hasn't been a massive crackdown on it. And that's without mentioning how the same platform for this kind of video often leads to other, more illegal kinds of content. Another sign David was getting increasingly comfortable with letting other people know was that the entire server was at least somewhat in on the fact that he was with Celeste. Some kind of bot on his server shared what looks like a playlist called Celeste in David's Closet. In late March, someone going by the name 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐿 said David only added underage girls to the server.
So that's true. Okay, I forgot about this new information, but apparently he has been adding a lot of younger girls in his second Instagram, not his first Instagram, and not allowing the being added to the main David. Obviously, the music account is the big main one, but obviously that could also be because of label management and him not being able to manage his own Instagram page, which is very common in the music industry, especially if you think about your most favorite artists, like let's say Kanye West obviously runs his own Instagram. We all know that. But if you're signed to a label, let's say NLE Choppa, he doesn't control his Instagram. Let's say some Katy Perry or any artist that you can think of that's pretty popular that is under a label, then definitely the label would not want them to be using that account as a main source of interaction. So that's why he made a different account. But apparently this has been shared, and a guy who made a fake girl account who was young, apparently he got added, and he didn't want that compensation with David, and David didn't want to add them to the main uh, uh, Instagram account. You be hopefully it's shared in this if by Turkey Tom, but we'll
and
see.
even specified that this wasn't some kind of joke, even if other users in there would joke about it openly. While I'm sure plenty of people had no idea about David's proclivities, based on the messages that have become public, at least some of them absolutely did, to the point where they even knew which girl specifically David talked to more frequently. One Reddit user said, one of the old Discord screenshots were two guys, allegedly, chatting, and they said that David wouldn't add them back, but he followed his underage girl fans immediately. One of them made a teenage catfish girl account, and David immediately followed his catfish account back. But his self-tells notoriously don't limit themselves to his Discord messages. A music video from November 2022 featured a girl that looked similar to Celeste. Another one from February 2023 depicted him playing the part of a dead body, specifically wearing clothes to make him
I also saw another video talking about obviously this is also a opinion based opinion by someone else. I don't know how to say opinion in a different one, but like there's another YouTuber that I watched. He's a conspiracy theorist, kind of. I don't know why he pops up on my my not for you page, but my YouTube recommendation. But he does talk about the music industry and how some artists go from uh being born as new or something like that, where they kill their old self, which is the old persona, and becoming new. And that's where the blindfold comes in from the first romantic homicide, leading to another song where he, like this video especially here, you can see that he's killing his old self and then becoming a new David, and so on. There's I don't know which YouTube channel. Maybe you can search up later. You can, maybe someone else in the comments can let everyone know what kind of YouTube channel that was, and you probably get a better idea of what they're saying.
appear smaller than he actually was, and getting placed into the back of a car. On April 3rd, he released a promotional video that opened with these words.
You see, when a human being is drained of all of its blood, it becomes pale, lifeless, just as the rose, visually appealing, only good to observe and admire. But the moment you go to pick it up, you get stabbed.
He released 2 other projects this year, and again, we can find various allusions to
That was weird. I never really deep dived into David like that. But wow, that's insane. He even got a Fortnite, his song into Fortnite as well before this whole situation happened, by the way, guys. This is insane.
his secret, having to defend his quote-unquote love from people who questioned it, being obsessive and even self-destructive, references to roses and shovels, describing himself as the devil, and becoming aggressive when his partner tries to leave. While most of the music videos are innocuous, the girls in them always look like Celeste, although one of them stands out as the most disturbing of all. On the 7th of September, Celeste's birthday, the anime video for a song called Rehab was released, wherein the female character gets butchered, literally cut into pieces by
I remember I'm not laughing due to it being funny, but it's like eerie laugh. But I remember seeing a video of someone saying that the animators also need to be checked, because what are you doing with these animations and depicting it? Obviously some of them just make it because maybe it's a creative thing and that's what they assumed it was, and I'm not discrediting their artistry. I can't even say that word, artistry. There we go. But it's honestly gruesome to think about when this whole situation
David's
happened.
character. Uncoincidentally, around the same time this video came out, David makes a song called Celeste that although he never released it, ended up leaking. In it, there are lyrics about Celeste only opening up when she's high and having his name tattooed on her chest. Up until this point, there were only allusions, and this was the first time he outright said her name in a song. Even if he didn't release it, it leaked anyway. And more, it seemed like David was getting something out of teasing his followers with his illegal activities. In the same month, David did a stream with Celeste visibly in the background, and when people asked who she was, he only replied with, "You are a Fed." This person who asked about her
That could be the other girl though as well, because I'm not saying this is a fact again. This is an opinion, but I have seen both girls, and they do kind of look different. But there is a girl that's another girl. I don't know if her name's Celeste as well, but apparently those two Celeste. I'm not sure if this other Celeste, but there's another girl who does look like Celeste Hernandez. But she she was part of his group, and then obviously you could see the difference in a lot of photos that if you search up a lot of more videos on the David files or the David's situation right now, you'll be able to see all the other conversations. Obviously it might be covered in this video, but I'm just sharing what I know as well on top of this.
A Discord user called Lamp was then threatened by David, who said, "Wallahi, he's finished. I know what he leaked already. We're literally preparing to sue him, Lamau. Lamp is about to owe $30,000. Legal team going bonkers right now." How confident can a guy be that he's threatening to get legal with someone as they literally have a picture of him with a 13-year-old girl? To make matters worse, for the whole year of 2023, he was actively looking for other minors to do the same thing to, as he had been caught DMing girls well under the age of 18. In January 2024, he made a post on TikTok with a bunch of Hello Kitty gear, and when someone commented asking David to adopt them, David replied, tagging an account that was clearly an alt, saying, "Should we?" This account had little to no activity, but was listed as having Celeste's birthday, meaning it possibly belonged to her. But besides this post, David was less explicit about his
How in the open has this been to the point where we reached 2025, near the end of 2025, with this much information from the Discord, people knowing from the Discord, the obvious literal showing of Celeste in the video in his live stream. Obviously, I'm not saying that could be Celeste, it could be the other girl as I mentioned, but how do we maybe at the time we didn't know Celeste was had passed away, because they only found that car now and in the parking lot, obviously. But obviously the incrimination of her being a minor is kind of obvious to the point where they would have told. But then again, he was suing people, so we'll never know.
His criminal involvement with Celeste in his music. But that doesn't mean the situation was getting any better. Quite the opposite, actually. In mid-February 2024, a Facebook user by the name of Dora Hernandez made a post which read, "Celeste Hernandez is my niece. She's missing this morning and didn't get to her classes in Lake Elsinore, California. She is 13 years old. If anyone has seen her, please contact me or her parents, Mercedes Martinez, or call the police." Immediately after, Celeste's mother, Mercedes, also made a post asking for help, and the efforts to locate her waged on for the next few days, coming from multiple family members and acquaintances of her. However, about 5 days later, Mercedes made a currently unavailable post that was replied to by the rest of the family, with things like, "Thank God our prayers have been answered." And in another exchange, a redacted person said, "She came home last night," which leads me to think that she was found around the 20th of February. Right around the same time, David was posting more frequently about some Hello Kitty girl, which absolutely meant he was talking about Celeste, as she was known to like Sanrio merch. In a confusing turn of events, within 2 months, Celeste was once again announced to be missing, seen the last time on the 5th of April wearing
How does she go missing with a famous artist who gets recorded every time he's out? Wouldn't anyone obviously see her next to David, ask who that person is next to David, or was David hiding her in his house? I'm so curious how it would have been that hard to find her if David does shows, does interviews, and I'm sure he would want to bring her around him because he had a odd obsession with this girl. But anyways, if it's true anyway, this is speculation as well.
Hello Kitty sandals. This has led some people to theorize that some members of her family knew that she was with David and were okay with it, and that others weren't and continued to press for her to come home. Ultimately, we don't know the exact details of how this all went down, but the fact that she was with David is an absolute certainty. On his Discord server, it was widely acknowledged that they were now officially dating, and some people even knew that his girlfriend was the missing girl, Celeste Rivas Hernandez. This person, Ponzalo, is one of the first people to call David out on it. And in other messages, he said, "David took my little sister's friend to LA to bang in his house while she's 12. Did y'all
That's crazy, boy. Nah, bro. Like, how do you even get them from one point to the other? How do you get them to LA without anyone knowing, bro? This is such I don't even know, because you'd have to fly them, and obviously when you go through flights, they have to check your ID. Apparently, actually, I just remembered this new information from another person, but apparently from another content creator, Celeste used to use fake IDs or something like that to have her like be seen as an older person. I don't know if it's true again. This is just another speculation from another person that's been showing proof, kind of. I don't know. They've been told or opinion based by people that have been telling the content creator the information, but apparently that's another information that you guys should know about as
know
well.
David likes kids? I want to tell everyone about how David is a creep. As far as I know, besides Ponzalo, the only other person to be going after David over this was a random TikTok commenter called Robin River in February 2024, when Celeste went missing for the first time. Among those who were familiar with David, it was simply common knowledge that he had basically kidnapped this girl. Adding insult to injury, he streamed with her on Twitch, and although she was wearing a hoodie and big glasses, it was clearly her. At some point during it, this moment happened.
I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids.
Really good.
Okay,
It's
bye.
been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
How y'all watch him and not click to your head what just happened, bro? Maybe these are just kids as well. They don't know what to do in these situations, but wow, that's
Mwah, mwah. Oh my. Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes. Everything goes. Everything.
He was basically flaunting one of the most egregious crimes imaginable for hundreds of people to see, all while being world famous. In TikTok posts and Instagram stories, he hints at basically paying her to stay with him. Around April 2024, when she was reported missing for the
10 bands to just stay with a girl. Oh nah. And hey,
second time, an unreleased song called Drink and Drive was made, containing lyrics such as, "Are you still under the car? Stay with me. I know it's my fault. Oh God, I'm here. Can't you take me instead? She didn't deserve to go. I'll be crying in this jail cell tonight." While these are contextualized within the song, they are also eerily foreboding considering the ultimate end of this story. It's also shortly after the second missing report that possibly the worst detail of this story took place. In messages that Celeste allegedly exchanged with someone called Anissa, she said, "Anissa, do not text. He came back. He's crying. Do not text me. I fixed him. I'm staying. I fixed him. I don't know how. We both cried to get her, and he changed his mind. I'm happy he did, though. Anissa, you have to swear you're gonna stay safe. Are you still gonna talk to David or go back with him? Because I don't want you to get in any more trouble with him. Celeste, I'm safe. No, I'm not." Now, I've already made a disclaimer earlier, but either way, I'm going to paraphrase instead of straight up reading the following messages due to how vile it is. To sum it up, Celeste said that she has bled as a consequence of something that happened with David, and just a couple of messages later says that she
bro, like how okay, from my position, from what I see, is Celeste had she shouldn't have had this, but she had a lot of feelings for David, and David used that to his own power to make her stay by making her see him in a back and forth. When you play yin and yang, the bad guy and the good guy kind of confuses the psyche and makes you perceive the guy as always a bad guy, and then he turns into a good guy, and you're like, oh, maybe he's changed. Then you go back to him, and then, but maybe there's other reasons that she might have liked him, but I'm very confused how nobody around them knew any of this. Because obviously she texted a friend. That friend could have told her parents. That parent could have told David's parents. This whole media thing, I don't know how he kept it such close and tight to the point where nobody knew. That's just a shock to
was
me.
also pressured into being with someone else by the name of Gus. Almost equally concerning is that David began saying in interviews that once he put together enough money, he planned to move to some remote island completely off the grid. Specifically, he noted he'd do this in about 4 years, which is when Celeste would be turning 18. Whatever his ultimate plans for her were at this time, they were clearly developing in scale. His dedication to this secret objective of his was to the point that, according to Instagram user ChandlerOTD, David had begun paying people off to keep their mouths shut about him being with a minor. And there's even a picture of what appears to be him doing.
Oh, I see. Okay, so he was paying people off to keep this whole thing quiet. So this whole time he's been using 10 bands, 20 bands, 30 bands, 40 bands every single time to pay all these people. Damn, that music money must have been paying good for you to be able to do all that, because to be able to keep that information away and then like still stream this person that you're with who's a minor in your live stream to your own fan. And you got to realize how famous this guy was as well, because this is the time he had Romantic Homicide has 1.4 billion streams just on Spotify. I think this has another billion on YouTube, and he's been on shows as well. The amount of money that come through that, and the fame that, and the publicity, and the eyes that should be on him. The way to manage that and still keep this information just under the rug is insane.
Doing it in some parking lot. Someone else on Reddit by the name of Alpha Tango Cheesecake made similar claims, saying, "This guy is a creep from what I've heard. My sister, who is now in 9th grade, told me that he was dating an 8th grader and she would go on trips with him to LA. They're all in 9th grade now, and it turns out Celeste's friends knew and he would pay them to keep their mouth shut. Celeste has been missing for over a month now, and no one knows her whereabouts. Definitely something strange going on." Despite how many times he professed
In all honesty, if I was one of Celeste's friends, I would have took the money and then just still told. Cause God, bro, what?
his love for her, the tune slowly started to change after she went missing, presumably to go live with him. In June, he made a post captioned, "Me after hearing about her past with other boys, I'm jealous and disgusted by her actions," with the background image being Patrick Bateman holding a nail gun to a woman's head. Now, in any other context, I would just assume this is a complete joke and has literally no meaning behind it, but it's definitely disturbing given what we know now. And keep in mind, she was 13 going on 14 at this time, so any past she had with other people was necessarily the actions of a minor. Besides this, there's also a post suggesting an interest in cannibalism, another one pouring boiling water on her for telling another boy happy birthday, and most concerning of all, one captioned, "Me if I see her talk with other dudes," showing David cutting up meat. Slowly, these themes solidified, and after enough time passed since Celeste was reported as missing, David once again became bold enough to start hinting at what he was up to in his music videos. In February 2025, he released one for the song One More Dance, where he is stuffed in the trunk of a car and taken out to the middle of the woods to be buried. About a month later, he previewed a song with the following lyrics: "Nobody ever caught me, but I spoke too soon in the back of a police car. I forgot whatever I knew. I ain't telling nothing. Do the same if they ask you about her." Despite how much this sounds like he's just talking about his plans for Celeste, in the context of the rest of the song, he's talking about something that took place in November.
His songs, how obviously you can't really deep songs because they could have a creative aspect to it or whatever, but that that information is just that the topic that he keeps talking about is just, I guess maybe people assumed that was his kind of artistry, just deep, like cynical artistry kind of thing. But
2016. But as far as is publicly known, there's no signs he committed any kind of crime back then. I should note, however, that he has one other song where he says, "You wouldn't believe what I did as a kid back in 2016. So given that David has the proclivity to basically tell on himself in his music, people should start giving real consideration that he may have actually done something in November 2016. Now, before I fully get into all of the allusions David made to his eventual crime through his music, I'd like to give attention to an interview he gave in late April, where he said this.
Yeah, man, romantic homicide was just like, I wanted to feel what the other kids were feeling like. Everybody I knew, well, in middle school that I didn't talk to anymore, everybody had relationships. I didn't have a relationship. I wanted to do that. I wanted to be involved in this or have a heartbreak for myself. So I kind of just like made up these scenarios of myself getting heartbroken and being in love and stuff like that. And I would write songs about things that never happened.
Given he was born in 2005, 2016 is right when he'd be middle school aged, exactly 11 years old. I think this is relevant not just because he's made multiple references to having done something in 2016, but also because whatever this something may have been, it's a significant part of why he later on went after Celeste, also when she was 11. Now, to cover his music, there are more suggestions that Celeste was now refusing to say she loved him, and some of the lyrics became quite ominous, such as, "He might have you, but I've got your ghost, and we both know that's the real you, and God knows it's true. I love you the most, but we both know what I have to do. Eyes looking right through me. Why can't I hear your heartbeat? Dance with me under the moon above. Let us keep this perfect memory." This is probably one of the most dense set of lyrics yet, as the main theme here is one that's a pattern among many serial killers. The idea that killing someone somehow attaches them to you in a subservient role for eternity, with some of them, like the cannibal Jeffrey Dahmer, even considering it a kind of romantic intimacy. Ed Kemper even called his victims his spirit wives. Given David
Oh, so he had the same like mentality as these serial killers. That's insane. To be at such a young age as well, to be thinking like this. I guess a lot of these other serial killers were at a young age as well, but like that mentality is kind of eerie if you think about it, because how do you come up with that conclusion? Where does that come from? How do you think of that as like a, obviously I don't think like that. And cross my fingers, I never think like that in my life, because that's kind of a terrible thing to think about. But this is curiosity. I want to know why. Like, I don't get it.
David's documented interest in that kind of macabre culture, it would make perfect sense for him to have developed this same kind of sick delusion surrounding Celeste. Secondly, the mention of the moon is relevant because in 2025, Celeste's birthday, which had been a common release date for David's projects, fell right on a blood moon, which harkened back to his ritualistic depictions in his music videos. Another interesting theme that shows up in this period is the strings. In his album, there's an interlude called The Invisible String Theory, where David and an unknown person talk about how some people are inevitably tied together by fate. But much more importantly, in two music videos and the cover,
that explains the red string theory. Okay. And that looks like Celeste, and that looks like David. That's just sick, bro. And that's probably her favorite flower too.
cover art for one of his album singles, there is the prominent presence of red strings, specifically, following the idea that David is enamored not only by gore, but also about true crime, serial killers, and things of that sort. It would make sense that he's also into the TV show Dexter, which has recently experienced a huge resurgence in popularity due to online memes about it and new spin-offs. First, the whole blood moon thing is a small but significant motif both in the original show, being present in one of the most meaningful and well-known scenes, which you've probably seen in edits, and in the sequel show New Blood. Secondly, we have the red string motif, which was a calling card of one of the original show's most well-known serial killers, Brian Moser, who was known for dismembering.
Okay, so I would like to dispute this opinion with the red string theory, with the Brian Moser and the obsession with red strings. I would actually like to bring my own opinion, because I watch anime, and there is a anime that depicts a red string connects you to the person you've done it with, or you're in love with, or you're like connected to from here in the afterlife, which is, I don't know what movie it was, not movie, sorry, what series it was, but there is an anime where a red string connected to one person to another person basically means that they are spiritually connected through to the afterlife, and they're supposed to be together and something like that. So that's my depiction, because I know David was obsessed with anime as well. So I'm just gonna throw that in for my own like opinion to why the red string theory is shown in his music and his animations as well.
His victims and stringing them back together. Unsurprisingly, when David's crime was revealed, many people noticed the connections and called David the Bay Harbor Butcher, which is Dexter's name as a serial killer. But before we get to that, I think it's relevant to say that despite all of the red flags imaginable and a lot of the information that I've gone over being easily found online, 2025 marked the greatest year of David's career. From officially collaborating with Fortnite and making the anthem for it, to collaborating with artists like 𝐃𝐨𝐽 and having Pokimane in one of his music videos, to having songs of his be featured in extremely mainstream TV shows like Invincible and Arcane, all of which got to tens of millions of views. By all accounts, his wildest dreams had come true, but at the same time, someone else's worst nightmare followed suit. On the evening of the 8th of September, fresh off the blood moon and Celeste's birthday, there was a 2023 Tesla with Texas license plates in an impound yard on the 1000th block of North Mansfield Avenue in Los Angeles, which was emitting a foul odor.
My question is, how did he get the car there? He must have had accomplices or something. Surely there's other people involved in the situation, because how do you get a car to this area? Obviously it was found because he lost it years ago or something like that, but how do you, as a big artist, get rid of a car and not being noticed? So there has to be other people involved, surely, because maybe keeping his image and other people want to help him and stuff like that. I don't know whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's whoever, but there's no way that he could do this by himself, in all honesty, to do this, get the car, get it rid to another state, and get in, unless he did it and then got in an Uber. I don't know. There has to be an explanation of where he's been caught in this area at the same time. If they're able to do that, then maybe he did it himself, but if he was in another state at that time, there has to be a reason of others being involved. But that's just my 2 cents.
At that point, it had been there for over 3 days, and before that, it had been parked at Bluebird Avenue for 3 weeks, with some sources saying more than a month. A big metal box in Los Angeles heat with something inside of it. When the cops were called to see about the smell, they opened the front trunk, finding a plastic bag containing the cut-up remains of a girl, about 5'2", weighing just 71 pounds, with wavy black hair, wearing a tube top and leggings. When Celeste went missing the year prior, she was listed as weighing 130 pounds, and now only 70, signaling she had lost a significant amount of weight since then, even accounting for the weight the body loses as it decomposes. The body was soon identified, and upon further investigation, police found that the vehicle was registered to David Anthony Burke and hadn't been reported as stolen. While all of this was going on, David was performing his music, including all of the stuff he wrote about her. If that weren't enough, one TikTok compiled the many theatrics David had during his show, all of which allude to what he did to Celeste. Part of what led not only to the identification of Celeste's body, but also her connection to David was the shush tattoo he had on his finger. Although this has been widely...
That's the biggest proof as well, because how do you have the exact same tattoo as this girl? Unless it's a fan and they sold the tattoo. Maybe Celeste was a fan of David and we never know. But the tattoo, clear sign. That's one of the clear signs that I noticed.
They reported to mean that she also had a tattoo with shush on her finger. There are pictures of what she had tattooed that just looks like David's name in red. Again, this is another sign of what kind of dynamic they had. While she had his actual name on her finger, he only had an expression for secrecy and silence. Additionally, another connection made by people on Reddit is that the original location of the Tesla with Celeste's remains before it was towed was just a little over 100 yards away from where he used to live in Los Angeles, and his place has since been investigated by the police. David's future shows were promptly canceled, and he's been described as fully cooperative with law enforcement, although he hasn't been officially listed as a suspect or even a person of interest. One of the first people to speak out publicly about what had just been uncovered was Celeste's brother, Matthew Hernandez. According to NBCLA, Matthew said that family members who still live in Lake Elsinore knew that Celeste knew David, and that Celeste's disappearance took place when she went to see a movie with him. Simultaneously, to someone who...
How do you not connect the dots then? Why wouldn't you tell the police that she was with David? Maybe They didn't know who David was. Maybe they thought David was like a normal regular guy, but there's no way that you would let your daughter go to see a movie with David and then you knew who David was and not put the two together. I don't know. Maybe it was they already knew, but in the background, it wasn't like a public thing like it is now. But I'm just shooting out speculations and how I'm just shocked about this whole situation in my personal, inside my head.
Decided to contact him on Instagram, Matthew said, "Yes, it was David. I met him once in person. I knew about him taking Celeste and went to the police about it, but lack of evidence, so it was waved off. Even then, they don't do anything. They haven't even done anything towards him. She was always saying that he was waiting until she was 18 to get married and stuff like that. My sister wouldn't say anything, ever. Please send me more if you know. I never knew about the Discord server. I wish I would have known. I could have used this. I don't even have Discord." Matthew then sent a few previously unreleased pictures of Celeste and confirmed the authenticity of the text message exchanges where Celeste identifies someone else who had been with her. But Matthew remarks that this Gus person has since been shot dead. Someone else who came forward was a friend of his and former teammate from when David was still a Fortnite player.
I think most of you all know I've known David for about 3.5 years. And the internet knows a 15-year-old girl was found disconfigured in the front of his car. Can't even say 15 because she was 14 when she passed. For those who don't know, David used to be a professional Fortnite player in the team that I was leading, Limit. Back then, I used to make music on my computer. He didn't have a good computer, so I told him about BandLab, and he started making music, and it completely popped off. And David, even before and after fame, he's always been a really, really nice person, like a little bit too nice, like comically nice. And for those who've been following me for a while, you know I used to have this ongoing joke over and over and over again about me dissing on David and us having like fake beef. Literally a year ago today, I posted, "The enemy, no, the enemy is David." And I would always make comments just hating on him because I thought it was funny to portray, I'm jealous of him. It should have been me. And flash forward to today, this is absolutely disgusting. He has known this girl since she was either 11 or 12.
Another member of his Fortnite team added more context to how they all initially met. "We were all in a Fortnite team called 𝐼𝐶, which is where I met him. He met her in like 2021 through Fortnite, I'm pretty sure. Then he made her get Discord. Everyone in the team knew about her, and he would joke about it and brush it off every time it got mentioned. That's all I personally know, but my friend Pistol knows more because they talked way more. She would literally say he raped her, but then follow it up with a joke, so I don't know if she was being for real or not. He was also just a weirdo, to be honest. He used to send gore in group chats. It does seem to be the case that a Fortnite team called 𝐼𝐶 was active at that point in time, and it also seems to be the case that David was affiliated with them in some way, at least based on this video title. On the other hand, Celeste's Discord account is verified to have been created in January 2021, which would make her 10, as she would only turn 11 in September that year, which is all the more horrific. Someone else who knew David and claimed they briefly dated when she was 16 and he was 18, claimed she had seen him with Celeste, but never had any idea of anything that was going on. But besides people who knew David, some that knew Celeste also chimed in, including one called 𝐸XILE's Funeral, who said, "Last time me and Celeste called, she was drunk and spam calling David. They have matching tattoos from when they did."
Wait, how is she drunk and she's underage? What do you mean by that? How does that? I am so confused how this works. Did David get her alcohol?
David used to have pictures of her up on his Instagram, but after they broke up, he took it off. Only thing throwing me off is the age, but I'm just gonna assume she lied about her age to everyone in our friend group back then, because they did date, and then 2 days after that call with me, she deleted her whole account. Pictures too, also looks just like her. No way it's another Hispanic Celeste with the same curls, same face. That just doesn't make sense. Gets to a point with coincidences. This same person followed up outside of Discord, providing a series of screenshots of Instagram chats dated to December 2024, corroborating their claims to have been in contact with Celeste at that point in time. Due to how much attention this case got and how complicit many of the people in his Discord server were, the people who were in charge of administrating it felt the need to go out of their way to make an announcement. We, the Discord and Twitch staff team, want to clarify what we knew and didn't know regarding Celeste. We were not aware of her true age or that she was a missing person. We also did not have any contact with her outside of what was public. From what was shared in David's Twitch streams and her role in the server, server, we understood her to be around 18 or 19. She appeared in 2 streams, but otherwise was not active in the server, and we do not have ongoing communication with her. Most of us are not located in California, so we were not aware of any missing persons reports connected to her. Additionally, the staff team has had minimal contact with David or his management. The mention of her full name within the server was not seen in real time due to how fast the chat moves when David pings everyone. As a result of this situation, the majority of the staff team has left the server, and we no longer associate with David. We do not support his actions in any capacity. Our priority has always been the well-being of members in this community. We are deeply saddened by the situation and extend our prayers to Celeste's family. May she rest in peace, and may her family receive justice. While I'm sure that this sentiment is genuine, and although it is quite possible that none of the members of his staff knew about it, there were people in the servers who weren't necessarily staff members who definitely knew. One person in specific by the name of 𝐟𝐸𝐵𝐿𝐼, who was David's Twitch manager, was actually caught deleting Discord messages in real time by Redditors. First off, this makes him look quite guilty, and second, I'm pretty sure that if these messages are eventually procured,
But the thing is, as well, they could have just been told what to do, and part of their position as like moderators or leaders in the group of those code, they could have been just told to delete certain things. They could have been paid as well, because it is a full-on job, I guess, for some people nowadays. But yeah, you can't just say that they did it out of their own will as well. You could also disclose that they could have been paid as well.
and they certainly could be given the high-profile nature of this case, he may now be complicit and liable to get a charge of his own. And all of that is assuming that he isn't actually guilty of something, which he very well might be, given his urgency to go delete a bunch of posts on the Discord server, probably because those messages could prove that he knew what David was doing beforehand. A few days after the first big info dump online about Celeste and David's case, a tweet that got a lot of engagement claimed that the FBI was holding David's bodyguard, Mark Morales, aka Marky Next Door, on suspicion
That's his bodyguard?
for accessory to murder, with an offered reward of $25,000
He's 6'6"?
for information that could lead to his arrest. Mark was then contacted by none other than Neon on stream.
Yo, bro, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I don't want the government to be on me, so I don't know if you could be on my phone.
Dude, hey, buddy, I'm not on the run by the FBI, okay? I don't know why you're saying that.
Yes, you are, bro. You're on the run. Stop.
No, okay. Yeah, yo, that's fucked up, Neon, though. I can't lie.
Hey, look at the FBI wanted poster. It literally says I'm black, and it says my alias is Big Steppa in Tubbs.
What the are you talking about?
Huh?
Bro, the FBI wanted poster, it literally says I'm black.
Oh, okay, so you're saying it's not you.
No, it's bro. You know what, bro? It was they got mad at Aiden for not streaming, and they made a whole.
You're
fucking
guilty.
narrative
You're
about
guilty.
it.
Get off my phone. You're guilty.
How old is he? How old is he?
He's
Yeah, I hate
36.
you, bro. You're so weird, bro. Alright, dude, you got it, bro. Stop spreading narratives, dude.
Like Marky said in the clip, the FBI wanted tweet was proven to be fake, as Marky Next Door is actually a streamer who had nothing to do with David or Celeste. Regardless, this is
Okay, so what was the point of showing that then? He's just a streamer. He's not even the bodyguard. Why would you mention that in the first place?
still technically a developing situation, and ultimately, time will tell if legal charges are pressed against David. Although, given everything here, I can't really see it going any other way. Regardless, rest in peace to Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose life was taken far before it could fully develop. I've been Turkey Tom, thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.
Wow. Shout out to Turkey Tom. Shout out to Turkey Tom, man. That was the David Files by Turkey Tom. Jesus, man, that was something else. And we're gonna see what happens in the future with the FBI, with the police, and all the investigations. And I will try to get a video out by the next update. But if you guys are interested in that, obviously, but overall, once it reaches a verdict, then I might show you guys what happens if you guys care enough. But yeah, that was the David Files. If you guys did enjoy that video, go ahead and show love to Turkey Tom. He did a very well and informed video for us to see today. And if you did enjoy my opinions, none of these are facts, by the way. Me or Turkey Tom, all these are opinion based, not factual, as I want to repeat that again. But yeah, subscribe to this channel if you did enjoy that. I will try to do more content like this on current topics, and hopefully you guys do enjoy the topics that I find. Hit that like button as well, helps push out the video to more people, and hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell icon and click all. We're trying to get to 14,000 subscribers, so if you want to help me out, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Instagram, _NBS. On my TikTok as well as _NBS. If you want me to watch other videos, it's better to DM me on Instagram because I do reply there more often than I do on the comment section, but I still look through the comment sections as well. So you can comment down below. You don't have to worry about that. But you can check out my music as well in the description. I also make music, so you can go check it out in the link in the description. I make different kind of music. I'm sure you'll find one that you like. So let me know which one you like in the comments, or DM me on Instagram. Yo, I mess with your music. This is my favorite one, and we can start a conversation from there. But thank you so much for being here with me until the end of the video. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.